Well, we are here with our Survivor 41 finale reaction. No more rankings to do. I guess only a reaction to the podcast. Well, to the finale, I mean. But my first thoughts on the season was at least I won the draft. So give me an applause. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. My idea, but you won it. So congrats.
Yes, thank you.
You beat me my own game. So congrats at that.
Thank you. Well, I mean, who wants to start talking about the finale?
My mama told me if you don't have nothing nice to say, you don't say nothing.
Also, look on my face because, like,
I mean, for me, once again, it all came down to the editing because they made it so unimpressive of a Final Four that it's like, what are we supposed to really think? It's so underwhelming.
I'll tell you what, the Final Five broke my heart. It was really like, you almost thought Xander might actually be dumb enough to do it. Like, you actually thought for a second Xander might save the season in a way, because that would have been an iconic moment. And he didn't, of course. Like, because he's played like a coward the whole season. Why would he stop?
Yeah, but that would have been like an Eric type moment too. Like,
I mean, it could be an Eric moment, or you could step down to beat Ricard and Fire and maybe actually get more than 0 votes.
True.
I won't say when, but I'll say get more than 0 votes.
Why did he still take Erica, though, after seeing that she couldn't make Fire to save her life?
Because Xander doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, huh, Aspen?
I mean, honestly, he don't. I kind of lost faith in him in this last episode. It was pathetic.
Time.
I know, Nick. Shut the fuck up. Don't give me I don't want to hear it. Like, I thought that, I mean, when he was being like, you know what, I'm gonna play the idol on Ricard and that'll change my game. And then he gets up there and is like, yeah, Jeff, I'll play it for myself. Like, bruh, you should have just kept it in your pocket. Like, that was such a weird thing to pretend to do. Like, he was gonna play the idol on Ricard. And the funniest thing for me was when he's like, yeah, Jeff, I need to play this idol. And Ricard's like, and then he's like, for myself. And then Ricard's face just goes like, that was such a weird move to me. I kind of had faith in Xander winning, but then I realized, you know what has he done? And then he gonna have the nerve to say that, like, my idol has saved me and my friends. Like,
what friends?
Who?
I truly believe if Xander was better talk, I think the best talker won. I think that's what it came down to. I think the best talker of the 3 won. I think if Xander was just a more convincing speaker, he actually could have won against those two.
I mean, I still think the best player of the 3 won.
It was so cringy when he's like, I was like, oh, I was really hoping that he would not come up with something to say.
Me too. I feel like the jury pretty much went into their knowing who they were going to vote for. I think the moment Xander picked Erica to come with him was what sealed the whole ass game, because the whole jury saw themselves in Erica, like they said multiple times. They're like, you played the game I wanted to play. And like, when you have that like so-called surrogate in the game, like you see parts of yourself in a player who's still in there, you're gonna root for that person.
They all wanted to do nothing though.
Right. What did she do? Can somebody, because I didn't watch her tribal. I didn't watch her explain why she deserved the win.
So somebody just didn't watch it. I think she did more than the edit gave her credit for. It's just I don't think the Survivor editors either like to or know how to give social under the radar females a winning edit, like a good credit for their game. I don't think they know how to edit people like that.
She didn't know how to edit herself though. In her speech, she kept saying, "Oh well, me and Heather did this. Me and Heather did that."
But like, Heather's not next to her though. Like, that's the thing though. She said, like, we pulled a power duo to the Final Four. People let that happen. Don't let that happen. Like, yeah, good on you. Fair point.
If he would brought Heather, and then Deshaun beat Erica in Fire,
would Heather have won? Heather might have actually won, guys. We wouldn't have seen the edit that we saw though. But let's just pretend that there's a world out there where Heather wins the game of Survivor, which is pretty funny.
Well, I'm glad we don't live in that world.
That's the
Oh.
loosest definition of power duo, though. I mean, were they a power duo? They were a do-nothing duo.
How?
neither-
How was they a power duo?
Yeah, I think
That's what
power is a
was
strong
saying.
word.
They
but-
neither of them did anything. They were both perceived as the no threats in the game.
But I do
They
still
were like
think
the
letting
no-
a duo get that far is still not great play.
They were
But
the
are they?
Swing
How
Kids.
was they a duo?
The edit
How
never
are
even
they a
showed them
duo?
as a duo either. I'm with you, Aspen. Like I never saw that. They never even.
I mean, I feel like we at least got that from the edit. They edited it poorly, but we got it from the edit that they were working together.
Yeah, halfway through the merge, they like Erica and Heather are this unbreakable duo, and the whole audience goes, Heather and Erica are what? Who? Like,
Yeah.
Well said, because I remember Shan saying that, and I still at this moment hearing you repeat it. I'm like,
it came
I
out of
remem-
nowhere.
I remember
Just
that,
such a weird edit.
and that was my reaction because I was like, they're an unbreakable duo. We haven't seen
Yeah.
them have one conversation all season.
Well, this was my question coming into this podcast was I want to hear from everybody because I feel like a lot of us actually have like hypocritical views on what makes a good winner. So I really want to know what makes a good winner.
I guess I'll start.
Shan.
But she didn't win, so she's not a good winner.
Ricard would have been a good winner.
He also didn't win. But I just want to know what qualities go into making a good winner in your opinion.
Well, I think the only people that can answer this question are Aspen and Mike.
Well, I mean, what do you mean by good winner? Do you mean like in a vacuum they are a good winner? Do you mean I think they're a good winner? Do you think I think they pass like this certain benchmark?
You specifically, what do you consider a good winner?
I mean, I'm always rooting for the crazy people to win, and they almost never do. So, like, people I consider great winners usually don't happen. But, like, in a vacuum, I guess, or just, I like Erica. She seems like a fine winner. I don't think she's, like, a great winner, but I won't call her a bad winner. She's just kind of a mediocre winner. I'll give her that mediocre to
I
good
agree.
benchmark before I give anything else. But I give that to most winners. Like, I kind of give, like, well, I don't want to spoil a bunch of Survivor seasons, but the point is, like, people under the radar winners, I usually give that like mediocre benchmark because I'm like, I can respect what you did. I don't think it made great TV most of the time, but I can respect it. Like people I think are bad winners are people that I think are obnoxious either in or outside of the show. Like there are some winners of foreign Survivor seasons that I like actively hated watching, and the fact that they won pissed me off. And there's like one or two Survivor winners that I'm really pissed off because they're either terrible people outside the show or they graded on me while I watched. There's only a few US winners that I would like say are terrible winners.
Well, for me, stop, Nick. So like I'll give you the greatest of all time Survivor winner
Well,
to me.
Sandra.
Obviously, Sandra. Obviously, duh.
I mean,
Like how she goes through the whole entire game and pretty much I think she set out at least 90% of challenges and things. So and she still won. So to me, what makes a great winner is either you having a bomb ass social game to where you don't have to win challenges and you still get somehow to the end, or you comp your way out. You win every single challenge. And that to me is like, okay, well, you know what? You deserve to win because you was out here busting your ass, or a combination of both. But I don't know. I agree. Erica is a mediocre winner, but I mean, I just don't feel like she pulled off anything to be like, yes, this was on my resume. This is what I did. This is, like, this was my game. Or like, unless she felt like sitting back and doing nothing was her game. So.
Hello, Alex. You were also a winner, as am I. I just want to say I'm not a winner on the channel. But Alex, you were also a winner. What makes a good winner, in your opinion?
Knowing when to strike, knowing your path to the end, not making big moves just to make big moves. I don't know. The thing is, the top three, we have Deshaun, which is just delusional, not a good player. Xander, who apparently everyone just treated as a GOAT. So, and he picked Erica to go to the end. Like, why are we mad that Erica is the winner? Maybe she's a mediocre winner, but I think she had everything as a winner. Like she did everything
Anybody's
she could've
mad that Erica's the winner out of
People
those
are
three
mad.
people.
People are mad.
Well,
that
Well, I
let's
mean,
be
it's
clear.
in women
Xander
arguing.
fans are mad that Xander didn't win. And I'm like, what the fuck are you mad about? He didn't do shit.
didn't do
That-
anything.
Oh, he did more than Erica.
That's my
Debatable.
mom. My mom sits there and she swears up and down that Xander did 10 times what Erica did. Like
He did.
What did he
I'm not
do?
saying it was
He
all.
did.
What did he
He
do?
did.
I'm
Name
not saying it was
right
all.
now. Name
It was not all smart, great.
No, but doing
gameplay.
shitty things doesn't count. I don't count that as doing something. That's
Yeah,
like
I
what
mean,
Alex just
again-
said. Making
again,
good moves
it-
that don't count doesn't do shit with your game.
He did
We-
stuff. It was
The
just not
fake idol?
successful.
How are we not giving him credit for the fake idol, bruh?
Because it wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
really, you can't do that without Tiffany. Tiffany should have kept that idol. Like I think it was legally her property at that point because it was legally Xander's. He would have just had to give it up anyways. Tiffany should have just kept that fucking idol, man. Because man, Tiffany should have won this season.
I love Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
Xander I don't think Xander had a clue of what was going on. And his explanation of Erica being a weaker player than the other two makes it even more of a case that Erica should win. She literally disguised herself the entire time.
She
Yeah.
disguised herself, Alex. Disguised herself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She convinced Xander, even though she could not do fire, that taking her is a better choice. When she is the second person that should win after Ricard. So I'm
I think
very
Xander-
Did
confused.
she explain that to him though, or did he just create that story in his head?
Yeah, I'm with Meg on that one. I think he just made his mind up and then like was not changing his mind. Like that's screams Xander to me.
Yeah, he even went right into that conversation. Like it took him all 3 seconds to tell her, "I'm taking
He
you."
goes,
He didn't
okay,
wait.
done.
He had his
Take it.
mind
That's her
made
fault.
up.
So
He
that's her fault.
absolutely had his mind made up. And I mean, I'm not mad at the winner. I think all three were I think all three would have been bad winners. Not mediocre, not the bad winners. All three. All three are bad
But I don't
winners.
think we would feel that way about Erica if she wasn't completely not shown in the first half of the season.
I will
I think
say that
good
of the
winner.
three,
Okay.
in my opinion, of the three, Erica has the most room for the edit got her, rather than just whatever. So yeah, I'll concede that the edit might have just gotten her, but from the edit we got, it appeared I'm with Aspen 1,000%. It just
That's right.
looked like
Thank God. That's
it
right.
looked like it looked like she did nothing. It looked
It's
and granted, like I said, I just voted for someone who did nothing over someone who did a bunch of bad stuff. So I'm not saying doing a bunch of bad stuff is better than doing nothing, but it doesn't.
Well, that's why I
detract
want to
from
know, Fat Guy, what makes a good winner in your opinion then?
a good winner. I think it's a combination of a lot of what these guys said. Like it really is. It's a good mix of gameplay. I think you have to, in my opinion, at least be in the brain trust of who's making the decisions, because the decisions are a lot of times mutual decisions. Even though one person might drive them, there might be a couple people involved in that process. So I think you want to be one of the top people to be a good winner. And then basically what these guys said, you can comp your way out and be a great winner. You can social your way through the game completely and be a good winner. But I don't think that's what Erica did. I just think Erica was perceived as like one of those fish that just sit there and do nothing. So like everything just ignores them because they're doing nothing. It's not because their social game's so good that they're talking their way to the end and they're friending their way to the end. It's literally people are looking at them going, they're freaking harmless. I don't have to deal with it. That to me is never a good winner. You have to be a persistent threat on some level, I think is what it comes down to. You have to either be a threat to win. You either have to be a competitive threat, a social threat. To be a good winner, you have to be a threat. I think you have to be a threat to other players some juncture of the game.
Maybe
I
not a
think-
known threat though.
Correct. Not a known threat if it's your social game that's carrying you to the end, but you actually have to be threatening.
I think you have to add adaptability in there somewhere. You have to be able to adapt in certain situations and maneuver your way out of things if you do find yourself in a bad spot. I think what they were saying, your social awareness of where you are at on the show. I mean, Erica said that, right? Wasn't that in her
Yes.
speech? And that made
Yeah.
a lot of sense. Part of being a good, being socially aware is knowing where you stand in the game.
Agreed.
And I would say, I think the edit really made Erica seem like a non-threat, because in reality, the entire show, Deshaun tried throwing the comp just to get Erica out. He can't trust her ass. That was early in the game. There was also moments where everyone's like, Erica on the outside, like she's lucky she's in a team that's winning, or else she'd be out. Why would they be so eager to get her out? It's because she's a threat. Now into the merge, who else is pushing for Erica to go home? Shan, the one that is the one who drives most of the things, and Erica still survives. In my opinion, I think Erica did exactly what she needed to do. I just think the edit gave her nothing in the beginning and kind of made her out to be nothing, when in reality, she was respected in the game. People respected her strategic minds, the way she thinks. They thought she was a threat. She was always a threat to people.
Yeah, we say it a lot in these games that perception is reality, and I feel like the other players perceived her as a threat at times. We did hear people talk about it a lot. We didn't see it a lot for whatever reason, but I mean, I even feel like on Survival 3, Bangai, I feel like there was a large part of that game and Alex that you all kind of thought Anthony was this big player that was controlling the game at certain points, when in reality really wasn't. He was just an out there personality. So, I mean, I do think perception is reality in these games a lot to the other players.
That's super valid. No,
that's fair.
That's really valid. I mean, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't, and again, it could be the edit. For me, it was literally that Erica just didn't do anything. Like, you have to do something. You have to win a competition. You have to make social connections. It just doesn't appear that she
and not just the last one, not just the last comp.
On another one.
The only of it's outwit, outplay, outlast. The only thing it appears to me that she did was outlast.
She tied with the most comp wins with Xander. No?
Yeah.
It was Ricard with 3 wins. Erica had 2 wins. Xander had 2 wins. That's outplay. Outwit, she did a lot of, she was in on every single vote. She knew every single vote. She was on the right, side of the vote. And she did some blind sides, and she pulled off some good, strategic moves in that same round. That's outwit. Outlast, she lasted. She got taken by Xander, who thought she was less of a threat. All those 3 components make her a competent winner, in my opinion. I just think the edit was shitty.
I think the truth is somewhere in the middle between Bangai and Alex. I feel like Alex thinks Erica did a lot.
She's not the best winner.
She didn't do, but I think Bangai is not giving her maybe little credit.
She reminds me of, what's her name that won? Michelle?
Oh, Michelle was great. I love Michelle's win.
Was it Michelle? Is she the one who was with Kendall? Wendell? Is Michelle the one who dated Wendell for a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought she was a terrible winner too. So I think they played this. They did nothing.
I'll give you Erica, but don't come for Michelle Fitzgerald in my watch. Okay.
They played the same game, if I remember correctly. They both did a whole lot of nothing.
I think Winners at War proved that Michelle knows what the hell she's doing in these games.
I thought she played better the second time. I agree with that. I'm talking about her winning season. Her winning season, I remember thinking when she was in the finale, like, how the fuck is she here? And this is terrible.
I just think some big moves.
You guys remember all of this stuff.
I watched it recently, but I was gonna say big moves are really important, but if you don't make it to the end, it doesn't mean shit.
It's true.
Survived after all these people were making, big targets out of themselves. I just think that if you got to the end and you can prove your case, you are a good winner. I don't think there's any bad winners, except for a couple. But there's some bad ones. But I'm saying, for the most part, if you got to the end, it's hard to be a bad winner because you still outlasted, you still outplayed in some way. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're a GOAT and you won somehow. If Heather got to the end and actually no, honestly, Heather at Firemaking was iconic. I wish she won that.
Can we talk about that for a second? The highlight of the episode for me, which was all of y'all's least favorite thing ever, which is Firemaking. I thought this was the best part of this entire episode, was the epic Firemaking challenge.
It was the only thing exciting.
It would have been if Heather won, but she didn't.
I thought she was going to win for a second. I was like, she's got it. She's fucking got it. And that would have been epic for Heather to knock out Deshaun in fire. That would have been classic.
Xander would have won. If Heather had beat Deshaun at Firemaking, there could be a chance that Xander wins because
we all think that Heather would have won. So shush.
I
It
think
goes-
I think Xander should have won over the if it would have.
Erica, Heather, Big Gap, Xander, Deshaun. Come on, let's.
Well, I guess, I mean, the one thing I will say about the editing, in the end, I guess what they were trying to do, I think they failed at several points, but I think what they were trying to do was tell how this is how everybody fucked up their game except for Erica, I guess. I guess that's what I got from the edit.
She's the best talker too. Really, she was the best talker of the three. She was the best speaker.
Yep.
It's because she's from Canada.
Canada's are great speakers.
She's
Yeah.
in-
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she
They're
get
not
free
really,
healthcare, so she automatically got an advantage, you know?
Yep.
Another aspect of the game that I think also happens in other games on this channel a lot is you put the wrong people in jury at the wrong time sometimes. And, you know, they can either be bitter or, you know, emotional fan guy or Patty or others who, you know, will go out of their way to make sure the people they want to win the game wins the game. And in this case, I feel like Shan and Ricard both being in the jury was very bad for Xander and Deshaun.
Yep.
Agreed.
That was not highlighted, but I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why Shannon Ricard would not want Xander to win. How did he fuck them over? Oh, I guess Xander didn't vote with Ricard like he said he would, or played idol on him or something, huh?
Well, I think Xander gave like a false hope that he might play it on him, you know?
Okay, that's fair.
I think I read an interview. I think Ricard just thinks that Erica had a better day, which like she was less dumber. She played smarter. That's just what it is. Like Xander is not that smart. Like he's intelligent maybe in real life, but like in the game, it just apparently he came off ingenuine. He was very like kind of like he didn't want to do stuff, you know, like make big moves or anything. Like I don't know. I think he just sat around and waited for things to happen.
But he came off pretty disingenuous to us too. I didn't think he seemed like a very genuine
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
His like
true.
fake cry face was kind of pissing me off.
Yeah.
I think he's still, you know, all the arguments whether or not he's actually rich, he gives off rich, spoiled kid energy. Like, you know, and I can't imagine that gives people a great impression of him in the game of Survivor, as well as like real life. You know, he seemed like a genuinely empathetic and nice guy. But when we have people lying about all kinds of scummy stuff in all of these games, you have to look at someone who's sitting there crying about, you know, about you and your future kid, and that he wants to be the uncle to these kids. And it's like that like voice in the back of your head has to go like, is this just some fucker who thinks everything's fair game in the game of Survivor? And I feel like that alone, that paranoia, we love the word paranoia, might be enough to just spoil people in Xander.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it was a bad move for Ricard to be like, I'm about to have a baby. And I don't know. I just
Ricard
feel
was
like,
just trying to survive because
It was a Hail Mary.
he's a little too early. Which is another thing. Jeff said the real thing that happens. Sometimes the best players are never going to win this game because they make all the right moves, but they also become a huge target.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Are you really the best player to ever play the game if you can't win?
Exactly.
The best players rarely get to the
I don't
end
think
of
you
a lot of these games.
have to be the best player to win these games.
I mean, I definitely agree with the sentiment, but at the same time, if you are too good, then it kind of loops back around to you're not good.
Like I 100% agree with Mike. Like, yes, the best. It depends on how we measure best, right? But like the flashiest players, the most strategic players, they don't get to the end because they're not knowing when to like rein it in.
Again, though, like perception is reality, or reality is perception, or whatever. Everybody's got their own perception of the game, and that's their reality. So, I mean, we just like in our survival game, I got called out as this huge threat. Like first time we were all ever in a group together for, in my eyes, absolutely no reason. And then bam, all of a sudden I'm in that role, you know, and then you have to play that role because that's where you're at.
Yep.
True.
I think Nick's point about the jury is actually amazing because I don't think that's something that we saw any of, and I don't think that's something they let us see any of. But I think it's something that has a lot more impact on some of these games than people realize.
It's
I thought
very
about that
Because,
too, because
like-
in Big Brother, we get to see all this jury talk. We don't really see that in Survivor.
But I mean, it's like, look how good of a player Shan and Ricard were in the game. And Shan had all these people eating out of the palm of her hand for most of the game. And Ricard basically almost did the same thing. So, of course, in jury, they're going to have a pretty damn good say, I would think. Because people listen to them.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can sway a jury for sure.
You know this firsthand, Fang.
I do. And the fact that I was able to do it
That's
to someone, the fact that I was able to do it to someone who tried to do it to someone else the season before
True.
actually made it even sweeter.
it was good.
And I think that was the point that a lot of people forgot, was that the person I did that to did do it to someone else
He did.
unsuccessfully.
Failed on me. So
No,
Yeah.
I loved it because that's exactly the irony I saw on it when I first
And I
saw you
did-
tearing into him.
I told Nick that when he kind of called me out for it on one of the podcasts. He was like, he told me when he got knocked out, he's going to prove that you can play from jury. And I was like, I mean, I'm gonna prove that you can play from jury. You can, because I see so many people quit. They get to jury and they just don't care. They don't show up. They don't do this or that. You know what? You start the process, finish the process, and realize that you can have an impact at every aspect of the process. If you end up on a jury, even in like,
But in the same
Survivor-
hand, Fang, can that give less satisfying winners, though?
absolutely.
If you think Dot is a more satisfying winner than Anthony, then you didn't watch the same season I watched.
I agree with that too, though. I don't think that applied. I don't think that applied to that season, but I do agree with the sentiment. It can give you,
It
It
happens
can
on
give
Big
you-
Brother a lot.
yeah, it absolutely can and does.
How many of our Survivor 41 podcasts just turned into shit on Dot hour, honestly?
I like him.
So many.
I think it happened 3 individual times. And then other times
I still say I like Dot's game in that season. So
I love that.
I like Snakes.
I thought he played it really well. He improved on the game that I played. So
I disagree with that, but I do think.
Yeah, I
he did.
disagree. I disagree
No,
with that too.
jury management, maybe not. I think he played it really well, like, middle kind of guy. I don't know.
Well, any final thoughts on the finale or the season as a whole?
Honestly,
Editing sucked. Editing
Yeah.
sucked.
That was
It
terrible.
was, it was
I'm
garbage, and they better come harder next season, or we gonna cancel that.
Well, we're getting the same fucking
Twists.
So I
Drop
don't
the
know.
4, keep the 2.
Wait, they've already announced this. The hourglass is coming back.
We don't know about the
Oh.
hourglass, but
I hope.
I think it's coming back.
there's some hope that because Danny really reamed production about like the twist. Like he was pissed. And we saw a snippet of that, but apparently he was like pissed. Like, and I'm thinking that hopefully is enough that production maybe doesn't do that specific twist, but I'm giving production too much credit here.
You are. Yes, you are.
But that's kind
Yeah.
of the nature of these
think the
games is
production
to
will
have
actually, listen.
the nature
Yeah.
of these games is to have these huge twists, right? Because I think what happened with Danny, if I'm reading it right, is the dude's a professional athlete. When you're a competitor at the highest level, you don't like things being taken out of your control on every
Yeah.
level. Like a twist that comes into the game and flips it upside down that says everything that just happened is now undone, kind of thing, and you have no control. You can't compete for. I think that's what rubbed him the wrong way. is
There's
that
such a thing as too many twists.
Yeah, and they did that this season for sure.
Yeah.
Think
Yes.
they should experiment, but
Did they have to do it all in the same season?
That's what I'm saying. I was gonna come to that. I was like, I don't know if they should have done it all at once with the hourglass and the almost merge and all the different like roll dice and oh my god, there's so many do or die. Like there's so
Yeah,
many
but-
twists.
The dice
They-
twist
they
like fell in its face.
A lot of them flopped.
Change expectations because like if players know exactly what's gonna happen, then it's not an ever-changing game. Like Survivor continues to change every few years, so I think it makes
But
sense.
can we not go back to a classic Survivor, a classic Big Brother? Can we not go back and do things how they did them when they first started?
I
the
think
show?
we could to an extent, but I mean, we
It-
went back to a classic, The Challenge, and that's better than the real challenge. So I mean, I think it can.
Exactly.
A classic Survivor entails that like people don't know how to socially maneuver or like strategically blindside and all that stuff, right? Like,
So I
classic
mean, I
Survivor,
think she means that in the case of like, can you just go back to just a tribe swap and a Community Idol and it work, I think it actually could actually just work and be
Yeah,
better. And here's the one thing I forgot I wanted to say on this podcast. I wanted to call out fucking Jet Probst for being just dumb, I guess, or a hypocrite. I don't even know. But he gave this interview right before the finale talking about we're still highlighting this game is still about the players and we're highlighting the players. And I'm like, did you not watch this fucking season? Because that was pretty much the opposite.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't highlighting the players. The winner, for one, got no edit in the beginning, so
None.
nah, she has an issue with that too. I think she seems to have a complicating like viewpoint about it.
Especially
like,
if she really was the
I
spearhead of
didn't
that alliance.
establish her and Heather's relationship if it became an important topic at Final Tribal Council. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the duo did get to Final Four, so like I would have loved to at least see how they solidified that relationship, and all that, because apparently, like, you know, when they were at Luvu, Erica was promising Heather, like, you know, we're gonna, you know, kick ass at Merge. Like, we're not gonna just sit here like sitting ducks. So like, why didn't that make it in? Like, that would have been a cool moment to see and hear. Like, I don't know.
I think it's
It
because Heather sucks so much.
That Erica goes down with her as a winner. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Shit.
Like if Heather was really that atrocious, anyone she's talking to, the conversations aren't going to make the edit.
Maybe she's just racist the entire time.
That's what I mean. Like if
And her
she's
best
that
friend
fucking
and her best
oblivious-
friend's Erica? Like
No,
like
no, like race, like I don't know, like just like problematic, right? Says everything wrong, and Erica, like every time they try to have good moments, like there's no way it's airing. So that's the only reason why.
I feel like you could get a genuine actual racist on the show and you could still find enough content to make them look not racist. Like they're out there 24 hours a day, like in these
That is
cycles at least. I mean, that she had to do something worth showing. Both of them.
I guess not.
I guess not.
No, but I mean that is wrong. Like that's definitely wrong because the jury liked Erica enough to give her the $1 million. So she did something right, you know.
Yeah, she sat next to two highly unlikable people.
And
Congratulations.
that's all you need to do.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's
Yep.
all it takes.
Call her a bad winner, call her a good winner.
Meg
She
had no
won.
target until one person was like, hey, she's a target now. You know, like it just takes one thing, one action, one moment.
It was like Josh Martinez winning Big Brother. It's not quite that level.
It
of
wasn't
bad.
that bad.
It's not quite that level of bad.
Uh,
But that's an example of, in my opinion, a bad winner.
Awful.
Didn't someone throw hot sauce at him and then later vote for him to win? Like, was that the same person that I'm thinking of here? Like, that to me screams great winner. Never watched the season, but that to me tells me great winner.
He's banging on pots and pans half the season to the whole house.
This guy
Yeah.
sounds
That's really
amazing.
all I remember is the pots and pans and all
That's
the crying.
funny.
When you
Not
can get
so
away with
bad.
that and still win, yeah. I mean, who's
Yeah.
to-
Well, any last thoughts?
flipped hourglass
I
next
see
time.
it
please.
season
Yeah.
42.
Right. I can't wait to see y'all next season.
I'm glad we get a break, honestly. I'm glad it's going to be
Need
2.5 months until the next season begins.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Maybe they'll fire their editing team and get new people in. So
Maybe.
fingers crossed.
Probably not.
All right. Well, if you guys have any last thoughts, then I guess that's it for the season.
Woo. Congrats.
Xander is great.
Yeah.
Xander is great.
If Xander would have won, it would have been like Josh Martinez winning the season.
Dude, I feel that way about Deshaun. He was on my team. If he didn't want
Deshaun
to,
too.
it'd
On
been pretty
mine,
bad too. That's
I
what I mean.
would
I'm shitting on Erica, but don't get me wrong. I think I would have hated the other two winning more.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Deshaun's gameplay.
Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, Vegas was wrong. Thank
They
God.
were
Yeah.
quite wrong this season. Very wrong.
I hope they lost a lot of money on that.
I mean,
It's crazy because they're so good with Big Brother, which is actually happening live. But
I find it weird that they even offer that bet because people in production know who won.
Everyone who was on that jury in the final two knew who won, or final three
Yeah.
knew who won.
Every
'Cause
single
they
person.
read it live.
I mean, obviously, you can't go placing your life savings on someone because that'll start getting a little sus. But if you think some of those people can't make a little cheddar knowing who's the winner, you know,
sure they did.
Is that
shit.
how do you do that? How do you work around that?
Well, all I've seen was offshore betting sites. I don't know if it's actually in Vegas or not, but
You just get someone you know to place the bet for you. Like you just don't.
Someone
place
that's like not even that tied to you, like a coworker.
Right,
That
right.
you like.
Coworker's way too obvious. It's got to be a friend that you're not friends with on social media. That's how you get it untraceable.
I guess so.
Mm.
You
It
just
can't
don't
be-
place too big of a bet.
It has to be like someone like not even living in the radius around you, you know? Like it has to be
One of us.
one of us.
Alex is going to be on Survivor 45, and then Alex is going to be like, "Hey, I'm going to PayPal you $300, and you're going to put it on this person to win Survivor, and I'm going to know
I take
if the jig's up."
60-40. You know, the cut
Yeah.
is 60-40, take it or leave it.
Oh, okay.
I'm for a good
You
cut.
know what's funny? I just submitted my audition tape like 2 days ago, or yesterday actually, right before the finale.
Okay.
I just
Um,
I did an impromptu casting call. I was like, I'm gonna do it. So we'll
Wait,
see.
did you like edit the video and everything and like?
No, I actually I just sat in my car and did it. And I was just because I was gonna go out to a bar and meet someone that I met on Reddit on Survivor. So I was just like, I might die tonight. So like I just made off that. And I was like, if you see this, that means that I, made a friend tonight. Off of Survivor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get you some.
all right. Well, that does it for the podcast tonight. At least I won the draft. That's the best thing that happened this season.
Congratulations,
Oh, shit,
big dog. Congrats, big dog.
Thanks. Great win. That's so much harder than the games you play, I'm sure, right? Just kidding.
Heather's robbed.
All right.
Thank you, truly.